Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over the latest episode of Doom Patrol, episode 108, which was called Danny Patrol. Now, this episode was very, to me, it was very over the top. It was really trying to hammer in diversity and, maybe homophobia, stuff like that. And while I think other shows could probably do this a little bit better, this one to me was just a bit too much. And I have to say, overall, I didn't like the episode. It was, like I said, it was just very heavy handed. It was just really beating you over the head with, ooh, diversity and ooh, let's, homophobia, transphobia, stuff like that. It was just a lot to take in. It was really odd too. I didn't really understand a lot of it because, this is Danny the Street, which is apparently a comic book character, is a sentient street, basically, and it can teleport wherever it wants to, it can be wherever it wants to, and it basically takes in refugees. Now, the majority of the refugees that I saw in this tended to be drag queens, and that was interesting. It was kind of like this was trying to be the Netflix movie, what was it, Pumpkin or something like that, with all of the Dolly Parton impersonating drag queens. It was interesting. Yay for diversity, I guess. But you're basically dealing with this, them trying to stop this military person who's, out for anything abnormal. And when you've got this storyline going on, and Cyborg and Larry are the ones who are kind of dealing with this. And then your other storyline for the episode was Jane having taken off, and she's taken on a new personality, which is Karen, who is basically like, she's blonde and she's obsessed with 90s like rom-com films, and pretty much she thinks she's in one. She kind of made me think of Legally Blonde or something. But you've got Rita and Robot Man kind of trying to get rid of Karen and bring back Jane. And Karen, she's trying to get married to this guy who vaguely reminded me of Henry Cavill with a beard for some reason. And you've got that storyline going on in addition to the stuff with Danny the Street. And you had a musical number at one point where I really felt like they were just trying to show off the fact that Matt Bomer can sing and sings very well, and you had this whole scene with that, and also this random child who came up to Robot Man dressed as a robot, and then they dance and he does the robot. It was a little hammy. I thought it was really strange. Now, towards the end of the episode, you had all of the inhabitants of Danny's Street kind of fighting back. You had a bunch of like drag queens and some handicap people and stuff like that really fighting back against that, and I guess that was interesting. And then you had where Rita and Robot Man kind of brought Jane back to her senses, and the episode kind of ended on a weird point to me. It's interesting because Jane is by far my favorite character, and I'm really intrigued by how it works, her personalities work. And at the end of it, her personality of Karen, it looks like she gets kind of drugged down into where all these personalities are kept. It made me think of like a subway station, like something to do with that, an underground train basically. And she gets drugged away, and then you've got the shell of Jane pretty much who's non-responsive, and that's how the episode pretty much ended. And I do think next episode is basically going to be revolving around Jane and all her personalities, so I really look forward to that one, to see Diane Guerrero in all her different forms, because she really is amazing in this series. But as a whole, like I said, this episode was really, really strange. It was just too over the top with its trying to be diverse and trying to prove a point. And I don't know. I've seen so many of them at this point that all these very special episodes just kind of blur into one another. So overall, wasn't a big fan of it. Maybe if I read the comics more, I would appreciate it more because I know it is a comic thing. You know, Danny the Street is a comic character. So maybe there's that. If you're a comic book reader, let me know. I really was disappointed though because Admiral Whiskers did not make another appearance. That was possibly my favorite thing of the series so far, and they do mention him at one point, but he doesn't make an appearance, so I was a little sad about that. But anyways, I'm gonna leave this one here, guys, and we'll hit you back next week with another recap. So have a good one.